Welcome everybody to Skulldron's Realm, and this is the Turnbuckle Talk. So, and if you guys don't know what that means, normally when you're in the corner with a tag team, you talk amongst each other before actually engaging, or you do a little bullshit like make believe to talk, so you can confuse your opponent. And what better way to start off Turnbuckle Talk with a former WWO World Tag Team Champion. He knows all about tag teams. He's been, he's been in the same one with 50 names. He is the one and only Johnny Perez. Johnny, it's been a long time. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's been a long time indeed, Joe. It's been great. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I'm excited to do this podcast.
Hey, it's great to have you. A lot of hell, bro. I started watching wrestling in the 80s, so a lot has changed. You know, you grow up with it, and then you get involved. So before we go into anything, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk all about you, because that's why you're the guest here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at those cute cheeks, right? Where are you from? Originally, where are you from?
Originally, I am from Southern Westchester, New York. Born and raised, and now I live in upstate New York.
So say that again. From where you were?
Southern Westchester.
Really?
Born and raised down in Southern Westchester, kind of like bordered the Bronx.
Right.
So I was in that area. Now I live in upstate New York, about 2 hours north of the city.
Nice, nice. And it is a beautiful city, folks, because I've gone there to visit. Love the little shops. They got mom and pop shops. I think that's one of the beautiful things that my wife loves about going up there. It is the little shops, the nice little thing. Where I am in Erie, Pennsylvania, we have kind of the same thing. So but his has got that little rustic. I think it's called rustic antique look.
Yes, it is. It's very rustic, very mom and pop. Again, there's no conglomerates, no big names to destroy, this beautiful community that I live in.
Nice. So let's go with every question. I think every podcaster goes is like, what was your first wrestling match? What introduced you to pro wrestling? How did you like open the world to it? Like, hey, oh shit, wrestling, what was the first thing that caught your attention?
I remember, I believe I was like 5 or 6 years old. My father coming home, waking me up so we can watch professional wrestling when he got home from work. And I believe it was either the NWA or at the time the WWF. It would come on at midnight. And so that was my first glimpse of professional wrestling with my father. And I've been watching, and I waited up every weekend till he gets home so we can both watch it. And I've been watching it ever since.
Nice. That's awesome. So was it a Saturday night's main event, because you said midnight?
No, it was like a WWOR Channel 9.
Oh my God, yes.
1 hour program, the old school
Wrestling
program, like late 70s, early 80s.
Yes, I'm trying to remember the name. They used to be, and folks,
All-Star Wrestling.
All-Star Wrestling, yes. Oh my God. So, what was the first wrestler that you see? Did any wrestler, once you first saw it? I know you're going back to, dude, I can't remember shit that happened yesterday. So, going back, what was the first wrestler that kind of caught your attention?
I'm gonna be honest, and I think it was the one that really caught my attention at the time, because I remember him getting in the limousine with the girls and everything. I'm not talking about Ric Flair. I'm talking about Buddy Rose.
Wait a minute, Buddy Rose? Heavyset
Yes.
Buddy Rose?
I remember
Playboy Buddy Rose.
Playboy Buddy Rose and the WWF. They had I remember the skit as if it was yesterday. He's talking in the limousine with the girls. He gets onto a jet plane, and the jet plane leaves and he flies away. That's my first glimpse of what I thought a professional wrestler was supposed to be like.
Wow. So here's I got introduced to it a different way. What was your first live wrestling show that you saw?
It was at the Westchester County Center, White Plains, New York. Don Morocco versus Rocky Johnson.
Really? Was
Yes.
Don the Intercontinental
He
Champion?
was the Intercontinental Champion at the time, yes. And I
And
remember being so afraid of Morocco, I couldn't watch the match. I was petrified of the man.
and folks, you could probably see over his shoulder all the championship belts. He's a belt collector. So yeah, there you go.
uh, I can say.
There you go. The Bob Backlund belts. There's the
Yes.
one that the Iron Sheik won from him, the big green.
Let me see if I move my head out the way
Yeah,
here.
I'm going to try to remember all of them going down. There is the Bob Backlund blue belt, the NWA original championship,
Oh
and
no.
then
There we go.
next to that one, it is the big gold belt from the NWA. Ric Flair had it. Television championship, the greatest intercontinental championship design by Honky Tonk Man, and I can't remember the red one. I can't.
The AWA Southern Heavyweight title.
Southern heavyweight title. Okay.
And then we got
Oh, look at that.
those over there.
Okay, let me see if I can remember all of those. The UWF Heavyweight Championship. I think that's the AWA Championship. The WWF
Correct.
Tag Team Championship.
Yes.
I can't. I know the next belt over is the United States Championship. I love that belt. What is the one before that and after that? I can't see from this.
Okay, so the one before that is the winged WWF title from Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And the last one is the Jerry Lawler Unified USWA title.
All right. So we know he knows his shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Back from my introduction into pro wrestling, my uncle, he was a cop. He took me to see my first show. I never knew anything about wrestling. He took me to Madison Square Garden. And just to give you an idea, it is January 1984. What introduced me, I saw the other matches. It was okay. Hulk Hogan came out and defeated the Iron Sheik, and that was how I got introduced to professional wrestling.
So you was at the Garden the night Hogan won the title.
Hogan won the title. I will never forget it. Third row up, right center, and it was. I was like, I looked at the other matches. It was, I think, Adrian Adonis, Dick Murdoch, tag teaming against. I don't know if it's the Samoans or something. I can't remember everybody else, but the one that stood out was definitely Hulk Hogan. Now, Iron Sheik was in the ring first, and then Eye of the Tiger started playing. You know, WWE can scratch all that, like put Real American now, but it was Eye of the Tiger.
Always, yes, Eye of the Tiger was the theme song for Hulk Hogan. That's right.
So, and that's what got me hooked. And then, luckily for us, because me and Johnny we were in New York City at the time. You got to see the AWA on Channel 11 back when we only had 13 channels. The AWA on Channel 11, the WWF or Wrestling Challenge or Wrestling Superstars or Wrestling Spotlight, the NWA's Worldwide Wrestling or the World Championship Wrestling, World Class, and a couple of the other stuff like Memphis and the Mid South.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. As I was growing up, middle school time, we had a channel called U68.
Yes, I remember that.
And U68, every day, they would have NWA Championship Wrestling, WCCW, California Wrestling.
Yes, California Championship Wrestling.
California Championship Wrestling. John Tolis and all those guys.
Oh, Wild Man Jack Armstrong.
Wild Man Jack Armstrong, yes. So I got introduced.
Tilt your camera a little bit lower, like, because I only see your neck and head. There we go. That's perfect.
So,
give the ladies a chance to see you better.
Yeah. Okay. So that introduced me a lot to the Rock and Roll Express, Magnum TA, Colonel De Beers, and Jerry Blackwell and Jimmy Garvin, and all these people, you know. So I was able to witness a great era of the 85-86 NWA.
Yeah.
You know, when Dusty Rhodes was winning the TV title and the world title, and the best of seven when it came to the U.S. belt between Nikita and Magnum TA and all that stuff. So, it really broadened my horizons that there was other events other companies other than WWF at the time.
Right.
You
And
know?
I think what you're talking about used to be called, folks, the Wrestling Network. Now, it used to be on. You had to switch it to UHF. Go figure. Back in tube TVs.
You had to
I
switch.
I actually have still a tube TV for my Atari 2600.
Well, that's the only one that's going to work for it.
Yeah. So you can imagine it's an Atari 2600 with an Intellivision, a regular Nintendo, and a Sega. So they can't
Oh
use
my
regular
God.
televisions. They have to use the big tube TV. So I still have that.
Correct.
And you can still turn it like.
Oh God, I remember those days. It was the worst.
I'm gonna test your memory. Every day on a certain time, I forgot what time, I think maybe 8 o'clock, on that same channel, in the UHF channel, used to be, well, every promotion was advertised every day. So I got to see the Freebirds and all that. So, and all of the same thing like you. Do you remember? I don't know if you ever paid attention to it. Prior to a wrestling show starting, any show, there used to be, I think it was a dancing Christmas tree. Maybe I'm fucking insane, but I used to remember they had something like a little jingle, and it would go like this, and the wrestling show would start.
I remember Mr. Bill.
Yes.
I don't remember the tree, but I remember Mr. Bill. That I remember.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go back on YouTube and find that damn Christmas tree now.
Yeah, it used to be before each show they had like a little graphic, like a little, not a graphic, but like a little short movie to go into, and they'll say pro wrestling next or something like that.
Holy shit, your memory's better than mine.
To a point. I'm still trying to figure out the wife's name. George Steele. It works, trust me. Johnny, before we go into your career, we're gonna play a little history. So we are gonna go into a little history, folks. So I'm gonna pull up the topic right here. 80s and 90s wrestling. So here it is. August. So we're in August now. So 40 years ago, Johnny. I'm gonna test your memory here. 40 years ago. August 1986. What was the biggest feud in the WWF? We're just saying WWF. One match.
Was it Hogan versus Orndorff?
Oh my God, he got it.
Really?
Here it is.
Wow.
Pro Wrestling News 1986, folks. Bear with me. WWF. Hulk Hogan versus Paul Orndorff was the biggest story. And the biggest wrestling storyline of the month was unquestionably the feud between Hulk Hogan and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Orndorff had turned against Hogan earlier that year, and by August, the feud was one of the WWF's hottest attractions. Hogan was still WWF champion, and the two were drawing huge crowds whenever they met. The final, I think, big one, because they will have on and off matches. You remember the big event in Toronto?
I remember that one, yep.
August 28th. So it was at the Canadian National Exposition Stadium. Hogan defended the WWE Championship against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Hogan retained when Orndorff got disqualified. Interesting, the feud did not end there. Hogan and Orndorff will continue all the way to their famous cage match. Remember that one?
Saturday night's main event, yes.
I'm going to let you take over. What was that match?
Oh my God, I remember the match. The ending, the way they were doing the video of the foot both coming down at the same time. They didn't know who was the winner, who was going to be the next world champ. Oh man, that was a great match.
Yeah, it was. It was a steel cage.
Yes,
and
that big blue steel cage.
And back then, WWF used to have the guys come out of the cage instead of pinning like in the NWA. So boom, they both dropped down, and it was such a good when wrestling had storylines, people.
Better than what they have today.
Yeah. Also, other news: Jake the Snake Roberts was becoming a major WWF star. His feud with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat when he knocked Steamboat out.
Oh, that's another. That I'll never forget. Ricky Steamboat, Jake the Snake Roberts, Saturday Night's main event. This was before they started putting the padding down around the ring.
That's right.
And I believe this is the reason why they started putting padding around the ring was because Jake the Snake DDT'd Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and knocked him out cold.
Yeah, legit
Legitimately
call.
knocked him out cold. Yep, I remember that.
All
And
right.
what was Bobby Heenan's favorite best phrase of the night? I smell pineapple juice.
I remember that. Will you stop? That was Gorilla Monsoon to him. WWF also at this time had some great tag teams. The WWF Tag Team Champions were the British Bulldogs at the time. The Dream Team was the original.
Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine.
There you go. The Hart Foundation, Brett and Jim. The Killer Bees, the Moondogs, Spike.
The Moondogs, Rex and Spot, or
there you
Spot
go.
and King, or whatever they were
called. And then the Islanders. So
the Islanders came in a couple of years after. I think it was in '88. 87 maybe.
Because no, they were there. It's just they just started, so they weren't teaming with Bobby. They weren't with Bobby
because they weren't part of WrestleMania 3. That I know.
None of them were. The Bulldogs had defeated the Dream Team in a steel cage match in the first ever King of the Ring in July, setting up the tag team picture and going into August. So that's the WWF. We're going to go into a little bit of history and then we'll keep talking about it. Over in the NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions. I'm going to hit you with this. While Hogan dominated the national attention in the NWA, what was the biggest feud?
I would have to say Flair versus Dusty Rhodes.
He's got it. Ric Flair, who was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Here it is in the Great American Bash of '86. Do you remember this one? Flair took on 12 competitors throughout that summer, the Great American Bash tour. So he fought Dusty, Magnum, Nikita, Ricky Morton. I forgot. There was many others. So they had that. I'm just going to read off some of the names that were in at the time of that company. Of course, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, U.S. champion, Magnum TA, who you mentioned earlier, Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare, Tully Blanchard, my God, the best.
What a great heel.
Yeah.
Great heel.
In tag teams, we had the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, the Road Warriors, and the Andersons, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. So the hottest feud, I think it was one of the hottest feuds of the NWA was Magnum versus Nikita. You said it before, the Best of 7 series.
Yes. That was one of a kind. You never saw that after that. So I thought that was probably the best series of that year. And when Magnum TA took it all at the end, it was all worth it. It was really a really good feud. I enjoyed it. I thought there were two good athletes. One, I think Nikita Koloff was a little green at the time still, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. But all he had to do was just pose and clothesline you, and that's it.
That was it, man. Don't forget, they had a lot of squash matches back then too. You didn't have to be a dominant, good wrestler for you. You just squashed the guy, you made yourself look good, and you went along the way with it. That's how you learned.
Back when we had, you can't say jobbers because that's not politically correct. It's enhancement
talent.
Yes.
Enhancement talent, yes. And which one was the best one from the WWF?
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? You say Barry Horowitz. Yes. I gotta say, for me, the best one, and there were famous enhancement guys all in every of these little promotions. We're gonna delve right back into it, but we're gonna go dwell back into it. Let's see. WWF is Barry Horowitz, Barry O, which is Barry
Barry,
Orton,
yes.
Iron Mike Sharp.
Canada's greatest athlete.
Yeah. Shut up, Mike. What was the other one? Louis Spinoli.
Louis
Spicoli,
Spicoli.
okay. And
Yes.
I forget
Ray Apollo.
Ray Apollo, yeah. Now, I mean
Mario Mancini.
Mario Mancini, there you
The
go.
Brooklyn Brawler. Oh, Steve Lombardi, if you want
Yeah,
to tell you
Steve Lombardi.
A lot of guys.
They were actually they actually had a team. They had was it Steve Lombardi were gonna team up with another guy. I forgot his name. I think it was Gibbs, something Gibbs. And they were gonna
Gibbs.
Terry Gibbs. There you go. See, he's got better memory than me.
Terry
Gibbs. And then let's go to the AWA best enhancement talent. There's only one guy that stands out in the AWA.
I'm gonna say the Milkman something.
There you go. Milkman Jake Milliman.
Jake Milliman. Yo, he won that damn tournament.
Yeah. He won the turkey prize.
Folks. The turkey prize, yes. I remember that.
The only one I can remember from the NWA will be Rocky King.
Oh, wait a second. You had Rocky King. You had George South.
Yes. Okay.
You can't forget George South. And you can't forget the Monkey Brothers.
He actually... You got to see the Mokies. You got to look them up, folks. All right, so we're going to move on to Hawaii. Bruiser Brody, Antonio Inoki, and the Sheik. It was one of the wildest events. They had a wild event, and it's called a Hot Summer Night 2. It was at the Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. The NWA Polynesian Pro Wrestling. So the show included Antonio Inoki, Bruiser Brody, the original Sheik. Do you remember his name? You remember his name?
Ed Farrat or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Jerry the King Lawler, Steve Rickard. I don't remember Steve Rickard.
No.
Bad News Allen, who I believe became Bad News Brown.
Yes.
Lars Anderson and Superfly Tui, which became Siviafi, I believe.
Siviafi. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Yes, crazy, huh? And not being an ass about it, but I thought he died years ago because you didn't hear from him. He was smart. He stood under the wrestling.
Well, after his incarceration, he stood low.
So, I didn't know that. See, I didn't know he was incarcerated. Go figure. Biggest feud for them was the Sheik interrupted a $22,000 back when people used to say $1 million battle royal and all this stuff. $22,000 body slam challenge involving Bruiser Brody and Grizzly Smith.
And whose father is Grizzly Smith?
Sam Houston, is it? Jake the Snake Roberts? No, not Sam Houston. Jake the Snake Rocker and Rockin' Robin.
There you go.
Yeah. So we got to move to Puerto Rico. World Class. What was it? World Wrestling Council.
The World Wrestling Council held. It was ran by Carlos Colon and the Invaders and stuff like that. Very, very scary territory to wrestle back in those days.
Yes.
Very scary.
So
terrifying.
Well, hell, if you didn't want to get hit by bottles or stabbed, then
yeah.
Here's something that I didn't know until I did some research. August 9th, 1986, Erie Civic Center, which is now the Erie Insurance Arena. WWF came to Erie, Pennsylvania, and they had on the card Hercules, King Tonga, Greg Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, the Killer Bees, Corporal Kirshner, Tito Santana, Rene Goulet, the Haiti Kid. The Killer Bees defeated Valentine and Beefcake in the main event. So that was intense with that. So biggest five biggest feuds were Hulk Hogan and Mr. Wonderful, Ric Flair, and everybody during the Crockett Great American Bash Tour. Nikita and Magnum, the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnights and the Andersons. Also in 1986, it got more interesting when Roddy Piper's return to prominence the rise of Randy Savage, and the conclusion of the Hogan Orndorff feud. So that happened in 1986 of this month. So we will
Now,
go ahead.
a little information. I don't know if you know about this, but Corporal Kirshner ended up going to Japan and got into a character that was used over and over again in the WWF years later. His character was known as Jason the Terrible.
Really?
Jason the Terrible used to do a move. He used to get beat and used to sit up from the ring all the time. And The Undertaker ended up taking that, and it became more famous in the States than Corporal Kirshner had in Japan.
Go figure, right? Who?
Yeah.
Something's got to start from somewhere, and then what? I'm trying to remember my timetable. The Undertaker's debut was 89 or 90?
89 or 90. It was something like that. Yeah.
So it wasn't that far off.
No.
So we're gonna go. We'll talk about 97, because 97 is going to be a year for not only for wrestling in general, but for Johnny himself. So Johnny, let's go into how did you get involved in professional wrestling, and who was your trainer?
I got involved in wrestling in the mid 90s. I went over to what it was called East Coast Professional Wrestling School in New York City, Houston Street on the Lower East Side. The trainer there was a guy named Pete McKay. Trying to remember the other kid's name that was going there. I forgot his name.
Oh, Bobby Bald Eagle.
Bobby Bald Eagle, yeah. But there was also another kid there who he actually wrestled as a jobber for the WWF.
You're talking about
against Kamala.
Yes, I actually remember that match. He was
What
Julio.
was his name?
Julio. He
was something Blaze, Johnny Blaze or something like that.
He was Johnny Blaze, Johnny Blaze, and his gimmick in the Lower East Side gym was the Black Panther.
The Black Panther, correct. And their world champion at the time was a guy named Tony Rambo.
Yes. Tony's still around, by the way.
Yeah, is he really? Okay,
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've trained with guys like Firehawk, and there was a time where we were doing some training, and some guys from the WWF came down. SD Jones, Akushi, at the time, Mark Calloway. They were all going to Lower East there to practice before they went to the Garden. So we all got a chance to practice and learn from the guys while they were there.
Nice. So when you were training, did you get a grasp on who you wanted to be? Or was it like you haven't figured it out yet? You were still winging it till.
I always wanted to be a heel. Always wanted to be a heel. I already knew the name I wanted. I already knew the character and everything. I just had to try and perfect it and put pieces together before I can go out there on my first match and then hopefully pull it off.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk more about your training. What is the most memorable thing in that Lower East Side besides it being in a basement?
I remember this one kid, African American kid, a little mentally disabled, but the city at the time was paying for him to go to wrestling school. And I remember this like it was yesterday. The city paid for him to go to wrestling school because he said he figured out a way of beating Yokozuna. So Pete McKay brought the kid in to train him, and lo and behold, I was one of the guys he was training with. And when I tell you, when he gave me a backdrop, I thought I was never going to come down. The kid was like 6'5", 6'6". I'm over here 5'9". I'm taking a huge backdrop from this kid. I'm in the air for like literally like 14, 15 seconds before I even come down and hit the mat. It was scary.
Here's Johnny flying in the air reading a magazine, waiting to come down. And like, it's not the falling that hurts; it's the sudden stop at the ring.
It's the sudden stop, I tell you, man. But that's one of the things I remember from the Lower East Side.
Wow.
Learning how to take the bumps from the first rope, second rope, third rope. they always said, don't be scared of the height. Just go with the flow and just hit the mat as hard as you can. You won't feel a thing.
Now,
So, there was a couple of things in here that, you're going to learn from Johnny Blaze. He went in there, Bandito. When he come around, he
yes.
teach you a couple of things on how to be a heel and stuff like that. So I had a lot of good memories when it came to some of these independent guys.
Yeah. Now, real fast, everybody, Bandito is not the Bandito that wrestles in I think AEW. There is a referee. I forget his actual real name, but
Hmm.
he used to be known as Bandito Junior. So
Correct.
that wrestler that you see, he's Hispanic in the WWF. That he's kind of muscular, slim. Who's a referee? Is an actual. Who used to be a wrestler known as Bandito Junior. His father trained him, which was El Bandito, managed
Bandito.
by the Skipper.
Oh, the skipper. I remember the skipper. Bandito had a partner called Huda.
Really?
I remember that because we would make fun of his name because we were wondering how he got the name, and we just said that, well, nobody knew who he was. We're like, well, who's that? And that's how he got the name Huda.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so
Yeah. Believe it or not, Bandito's alive and well, and Skipper is in
yes,
Texas.
skipper.
Yes, he's in Texas. We talk. We chat every
Wow,
now and then. He's doing
it's
good.
nice. I haven't seen the skipper in ages,
Yeah.
man.
Hasn't changed. He looks
Uh,
exactly the same. Maybe more gray, but still the same guy.
Still the same guy.
Yeah. Most
Um,
notable also from there, folks, was a guy who was also going up the enhancement ranks in the NWA, the WWF, and I think even a little bit of the AWA, not too sure. But he became my mentor years later, or should I say around that time, he already was Jason Knight. He would go on to become the ECW television champion. So you
yes,
had him, you had Bobby Bald Eagle, um, you had other notable guys.
you had. Oh, don't forget Big Dick Dudley,
Yes.
Alexander the Great is what
Yep.
he was known as.
Yep. And A Train,
A Train,
who
yes.
became,
Devon Dudley.
yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting thing. So let's go into you did your training, you did your practice with these guys. What was your
Mhm.
first match? Do you remember your first match?
My first match was Bronx Brawl 2.
Oh, for us.
Yeah. Uh,
Wow, so we
I
had a
remember you.
rookie.
Right there, right outside of Yankee Stadium.
Yep. So guys, let me give you a little bit of history. In 1994, we formed an organization called the World Wrestling Organization. It was run by me, owned by me, and one of our guys. Oh, here's something else from the Lower East Side too. Ken Sweeney came from there.
Ken Sweeney,
He
yes.
became
Yes.
he wrestled on the Indies, and he became now an MMA fighter. So you can actually look him up on YouTube and see his fights. The Dream Warrior was another
Uh,
crazy guy. I got to
I
manage
remember
him.
him.
And one of your top rivals, before we go into the Bronx Brawl,
Oof.
one of your top
Jesus.
rivals was, and I gotta give him props because he's probably gonna watch this. Big Kane D and his brother Chito Martinez. They were
NC
NC-17.
17.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So the give you guys we kind of we became the ECW, not the hardcore stuff. We became like the earlier version, like Eastern. We took all the misfits and we did a promotion and we practiced up in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. So it was not a really full show. It was maybe a couple people, and it was just to get the guys to know each other and work.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
Bronx Brawls were the equivalent to, you could say they were at the time was our summer show before it all
Hmm.
changed. Dream Warrior had knew the people in this park in the Bronx, right across the street from what was it? Shea Stadium or Yankees? The Shea Stadium.
Yankee Stadium.
Was it? Oh yes, Yankee Stadium. And it was a bike. It was an actual park that they converted into a bike, like stunt bikes and BMX bikes
Yes.
competition.
Yes. They would do tricks and stuff there. Yep.
Right, and competition. So they wanted to have professional wrestling. So Dream Warrior convinced them, hey, let's get these guys. I booked the show, and it was going to be like only 3 or 4 matches. So, um, it was, I gotta say, the first ever fun show that we did, and it was live. So we had like tons of people. And folks, this was before. It says BI, before internet, before cell phones had cameras. Go figure. So I'm gonna toss a couple of names to you. We're gonna discuss the matches, but I'm gonna throw one match. Do you remember your tag team partner took on one kid who would stay with us until I think a year, 2 more years, and then he would be gone. And I'm gonna give you a hint. He used to be a cop.
Yeah, the African American kid with the hazel eyes.
Yes,
Oh man,
he was known as the Dynamite Kid, Mark Mora.
Mike Mora. Yes, yeah, I remember they got into a real scuffle in Brooklyn.
Yeah, on
I
a show
remember
we will
that.
never name, but we'll talk about that in a bit. um, it so them two actually got in a match. So that was one match. So at the time, folks, everybody was getting a good feel for the wrestling business because I think you and your partner teamed up to become the Latin Lords.
Me and Noel. Yes.
For talk about a little bit about Noel, and then I'm going to ask you, where did you get the name the Latin Lords? But first, let's go into the brothers, because Noel and at the time, what was his name? What was
Carmelo,
no, Camelo Man
Mellow
Ace?
Man, Carmelo Man Ace or Mellow Man Ace. It
Yeah,
was one of the
Camelo
two. I
Man
don't.
Ace. Mellow Man Ace was a singer, a Spanish singer, I believe.
I remember that.
So
Yeah,
we couldn't come up with a name, so he was Carmelo. So Carmelo Man
Carmelo
Ace.
Man Ace. There you
Yeah,
go.
he hates
Well,
that.
we all met at the Lower East Side Wrestling School. That's where we all met. They thought I was from Long Island. I was like, no, no, I'm from Westchester. They were like, okay. They say you're from Long Island. I was like, no, no, I'm from where? I was like, where you guys from? He goes, we're from right here, then the next building over. So they lived right there. So we started talking and everything, and they wanted to form like a Freebird type tag team. So I'm like, I'll join. What the hell? What do I got to lose? So that's when the we came around with the tag team of the Latin Lords, and me and Noel teamed up more than we did with Carmelo. Carmelo wanted to be a solo then after we decided to do the whole 6-man thing. So we let him go solo, and me and Noel continued as a tag team, and we ended up being landlords. The notorious Noel and
Right.
myself was I think Bad Boy Tony Perez.
There you go. Um, it was unique because you guys did look like the Spanish gangsters.
Hmm.
Um, and the funny thing is, originally you're what, Puerto Rican, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the other two were Puerto Rican as well. So that's
Mhm.
why it's Latin Lords. Um, Funny thing is, you guys took on my team and Booker's Prerogative. My guys with the tag champs. Um, Dust. Let me tell you guys, go to the pay window here.
Yeah. Yes, baby.
Baby, yeah. Um, so we came up with at the time, it still is today, the World Wrestling Organization, and we treated it as our big WWF. We took it serious.
Hmm.
We had fun, and we said, well, we're gonna have the WWO Tag Team Champions, Heavyweight Champion, and the International Championship. I think Carmella had the. We didn't make it yet. That came. No, we did have it. We had the
What
WWO Light
the
Heavyweight.
junior, the
Light
light
Heavyweight.
heavyweight?
The
Yes, light
Dream Warrior
heavyweight.
had it.
Yes.
My guys were the tag team and light heavyweight.
I wonder why, Joe. I wonder why.
Yeah, Booker's prerogative or promoter's
Yes.
prerogative, owner's prerogative. I think I was all three. Um, but I remember it. What a day, because it was a hot summer day, guys. It was an outdoor show. The ring, it was our ring. So,
Well, don't
and
forget we had to water that ring down every once in a while because it would get hot.
yes, yes,
Ah, I
guys,
remember that.
and this was no tent over it. This was outdoors. People could see from the elevated train. What was the train number? Do you remember? Or what was it?
That's the 4 train.
The 4 train. People, we had people on the balcony from the train station on top looking down at our show. We felt this was our WrestleMania 3. That's how it kind of gave you that feeling.
It did. It did. It did.
So it was the Latin Lords taking on NC-17 for the tag team championship. I think it was a straight fall, or was it 2 out of 3? No, straight fall, wasn't it?
No, it was a straight fall street fight.
Okay. Yeah. Here, and we're gonna go on to the joke with this in a few minutes, but I managed the tag team champions, or why should I say not the tag, because the titles were vacant. So
Correct.
I was in the corner, and Carmelo was in you and Noel's corner, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It was chaotic, but there was somebody else in your corner, and you're gonna see Johnny's face go like crash and burn.
You got to bring him up.
Yeah, we go bypass him. He was a playboy.
But he was no diamond, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And what kind of sneakers did he wear?
What was it, the Pro Cats or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Pro Cats. Yes.
Yeah.
I looked the part, folks. I was the bad guy. I was Paul Lee. I was Paul Lee dangerously before Paul Lee was Paul Lee.
Correct. I don't know what Paul Diamond was, to be honest.
Yeah, Peter Diamond.
Whatever.
Yeah. I had the straight hair, and I had the curly hair. Now it's more straight and gray. And I had the black t-shirt with tassels and whatnot. I was like really the manager. Prior to actually managing NC-17, I was doing the indie scene myself before that. So I was in excellent company. I had like my main first mentor and trainer was Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. So I had him. I was fortunate enough to be recruited into that brotherhood. And there is brotherhoods in professional wrestling.
Yes.
You guys had it. I've had it with my guys, and it was, it was Eddie Gilbert, it was Jason Knight and Rock and Rebel, and my Nightmare Express, my first tag team. So it was Toxic Todd, who was also a WWE enhancement talent, and his brother Billy the Kid. So they were the first. That group taught me the business. When I started slowing down because we would travel to Baltimore, we would travel to Tennessee, we would travel for Smoky Mountain, we would travel to like Eastern Championship Wrestling, and a couple little indie shows for Dennis Caluso. But I started slowing down, and that's where WWO came from, because I was married now at the time, had kids, so I wanted to stay strictly in New York. So when you guys came in, you guys would just quickly thrust it into that tag title position, because the gimmicks between you and NC-17 were exactly the same. I call K&D and Chino the Puerto Rican Public Enemy. So Chino would do the hand wave. Me and K&D would stand next to each other and like, what the fuck is he doing? And, we were the heels, but you know what? That was another thing. Were you guys heels, or were you guys like the tweeners? Because I know you weren't baby faces.
We were betweeners. Depends on who we were wrestling. It depends on the crowd if they cheered or booed you.
Right.
We went either way.
And we're going to go how future forward in his career. So after Bronx Bowl 1, we moved on and we did a couple other shows. So we did some in it's called Beacon. It was a Beacon school in Brooklyn, New York. We did Bronx Brawl 2, which was we're on a historic night where I think what happened to make it go from Latin Lords to Armed and Dangerous? Do you remember?
It's- I think we just wanted to branch out on our own without Carmelo. I think he just wanted to stay as a single wrestler. So they decided to get rid of the Latin Laws gimmick and we went with Armed and Dangerous, and which is what we did in the ECPW.
Right,
So we actually got that Armed and Dangerous for ECPW, and we continued from there.
right. In Bronx Brawl 2, everybody, it was defending champions was Chino. His brother Candy was in Florida legitimately. He teamed
Hmm.
up with future JAP owner, and may he rest in peace, Fat Frank, who was going by the name Lightning Lou Diamond. One of the many hundred gimmicks he used to use. Kaboom. Right, Angel? Boot kaboom.
Kaboom!
That was another gimmick he had. And you know how he got that gimmick?
No,
He saw a cereal box that said kaboom. I don't know if you
I
remember that.
remember that cereal box with the clown on it.
There you go. So he liked the name
Yeah.
Kaboom and it became Kaboom.
It could have been worse. Could have
Yeah,
been Splat.
yeah. Jeez, could have been Kid Blast, Kid Dynamite, and
Oh,
we'll
Jesus
talk about.
Christ.
I gotta. I love you, Carmelo. Don't get upset.
Oh, we love you, brother, but the
Yeah,
names you had is too many.
yeah. He was Curran White before anybody else. Before Chavo was Curran White.
But I tell you what, his last gimmick, he probably did the best.
Yes, I love.
He took that to the heart, that gimmick, and I loved it. I loved it.
What was the name of the gimmick?
Angel Hernandez.
What was it?
El Latino.
El
Angel Hernandez.
Latino Angel Hernandez.
Remember the straw hat, the t-shirt, the
Yes, the
guitar,
pure Puerto Rican.
the pure Puerto Rican side, man. I gotta say, out of all the gimmicks, he put his heart into that one. That was the best one he ever had.
Yeah. Well, you remember, and folks, we're jumping ahead for just this topic right now for Carmelo. We remember we I think we started that in 2013, and we did a reunion show. We got everybody together, and we said to him, "You're not Kid Blast. You're not, Carmelo Mayonnaise. We want to give you a better gimmick and use your Puerto Rican heritage." And I think you came up with El Latino or Kane D. I don't remember because Kane D was our booker.
Yep.
And Hernandez came up because of famous Gino Hernandez from World Class.
Yes.
So, and
we figure, I said, Angel Hernandez. And somebody said El Latino. I said, there you go.
Yeah.
And that was, and he, like I said, he put a lot of heart into that gimmick, man. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really was. It was really phenomenal. From the pants all the way up to the shirt that he would put on.
Yep.
The hat, everything was like he just came straight out of Puerto Rico, right off the plane into the ring.
Yeah. What was the name? The old timers used to dress in that shirt. I forgot what kind of shirt it was.
Yeah, the shirt with the pockets, with the pockets on the top, and I remember. I forgot what they're called, Wicharos or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. My wife was here; she would know the name of it quickly. But he came out with that, and he came out to Spanish music and the Puerto Rican flag, and oh man, was he like some people booed him, other people just cheered him. So he was in that tweener.
He was really into that gimmick. He was into it, on the mic talking, in the ring wrestling. He was El Latino. He really was. So
yeah, it was
really good gimmick.
It was a good gimmick that suited him finally.
Yes.
So we're gonna go now back to Bronx Brawl 2, folks. Bronx Brawl 2, we had several matches. Dream Warrior taking on Dynamite Kid Mark Mora for the light heavyweight championship. That was the famous jumping off the roof.
Jumping off the whatever coke he was on. I wanted some.
Yeah, it was. And here I am. I'm managing Dream Warrior. They do this. Ken Sweeney was in his corner. In Mark Mora's corner. Not Mark Merrow. Mark Mora. So
Mora.
Yeah. So, and then the end spot came where Dream Warrior did a move, and I think it was either a power bomb or slam. I don't remember. And he got a ladder, climbed up to the side. And I'm going to see if I could talk to that lunatic and bring him on this podcast. He,
Oh, Jesus
I still
Christ.
talk to him too. So, and he climbed up the side of the building and leaped, folks. We're talking about balcony jumps later that came on later. He started out with that first jump, and I looked and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna pass the ring, and
We
you could,
thought he was gonna go over. We
yeah,
really thought he was gonna go over.
and you could tell that he was second guessing it. He was like, and we're all like, well, moment of truth, buddy, you're gonna have to jump, and he did, beautiful, landed, you know, perfectly right on Mark Moore. And the
Yes.
bounce, because our ring used to bounce. So it bounced and it sprung him back up and he fell to the side in the ring. And Mark Moore went from flat like this to a headstand without even moving.
Yes.
And then he dropped
Yes.
back down. And Ken Sweeney came and interfered, and that was it. But the main event was you and your partner as the newly christened Arm and Dangerous taking on the American Express, Mike Masters and J.R. Styles, and Chino of
Yes.
Ken NC-17 with Fat Frank teaming up to defend the WWO Tag Team Championship. And it was just, I think it was just, was it 2 out of 3 or straight falls? Because,
That I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank on that.
yeah, Angel would know. He's our Mike Tenay. Um, Kane D. So, but you guys walked away with that championship.
Yes,
So
we finally walked away after a long battle of trying to get those belts. We finally came out that night as victorious and as the champs.
now my question for you guys was that your first championship or
Yes,
oh,
that
okay.
was my first. I know that was my first championship.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know about Mello or Noel, but I know that was my first championship. It was fucking spectacular. It was, probably one of the greatest feelings ever, knowing that you won a championship.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
And the thing is, because I've never, me being just a manager, I've never won a championship, but the feeling of a company having faith and saying you guys are the Crimson the tag champs, which will
Hmm.
lead to other better matches later. We're going to go into
Correct.
that in itself. But the next topic is going to be, let's go back here, working the independent wrestling scene. So between, I don't know if you guys did anything else besides WWO, but how was it actually for you two guys? Or I don't know if Carmelo was still, well, Carmelo was with you, but
Hmm.
how was it actually getting into rings and wrestling, in front of a crowd? Like, you've seen it on TV, you've been to the live shows, now you are stepping in the ring and all eyes on you. So how was it
Uh,
working the indie scene?
I remember we did a couple of tag matches and stuff for Gino Caruso in Parsippany for the ECPW. Um, this was before Noel had gotten sick, and then after his passing, me and Noel ended up becoming the PLTs, the pre-Latin Thangs,
Okay.
and we were wrestling for the ECPW. We did a couple of matches with them. We did some matches for an organization called Main Event Championship Wrestling, based out of South Philadelphia. Um, it, it was different. The crowds weren't as big as we did at the WWO. Um, Dealing with different promoters, you saw a lot of different things, and you get to learn how to work with certain people when it comes to them being a promoter and what they want and what they don't want.
Right.
Um, uh, I ended up going solo, and I ended up wrestling for other various independent organizations throughout the East Coast, and I had a pretty fun time doing that. Wrestled from New York to Maine, from Maine to Florida, Washington, did a whole bunch of independent shows and stuff like that. So I got to learn to work a lot better as I got older and worked with different promoters. Because again, nowadays you work with either one of three promoters.
Right.
Back in our days, you're working with 50, 60 different promoters.
Yeah.
So once you get to learn the business like that, you get to learn how to work with people. It turned out to be one of the best things I ever did. And throughout all the pain and broken bones and stiff backs and necks, and I can't get up in the mornings anymore, I'd do it all over again if I had to.
Yeah. Now you bring up injuries. What was your first legitimate injury?
Uh it was my back, my coccyx bone. I believe I was in Atlanta where they did when they pick you up and then they put the knee up and you sit on the knee. What's
Okay.
that? It's like a backbreaker, an atomic backbreaker, or something like that. So
Right.
when he came down, my foot slipped and actually pounded right into the back of his knee. So my backside hit the knee and it messed up the coccyx bone a little bit. So that was
Mm.
my first injury. Then I had the knee, the shoulder, the neck. Um, I had a couple of concussions. I mean, nothing to be too serious about, but I did have concussions, which everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Everybody, you're gonna get a concussion in this business, no matter how you look at it. Um, let's see if I have it somewhere around here. I got a busted up elbow somewhere around the
Yeah.
area
I see.
here.
You can see it right there.
Yeah, and that was during a cage match where I don't know who put it together, but the screws were on the outside instead of the inside. So while I'm hitting the guy, he ducks, I swing, and it cuts me.
Mm.
So the screw was protruding out about, I would say, about that much. It was protruding out, and it just cut me, and I felt something warm coming down my arm, and the guy was like, "Yo, you bleeding?" So I was like, "Oh shit!" I went to finish the match, went to the back, they cleaned it up, put some crazy glue, and off I went. We
Crazy
didn't have
glue,
medical.
folks. You know, that's when we can't afford doctor's bills. Crazy glue works wonders.
Crazy glue works wonders, man. Holy
Just like
shit!
duct tape is a good band-aid.
Any type of tape is a good band-aid. I tell you
Yeah.
that, man.
So
Uh,
so working the indie scene, when you did the territories,
yes.
and yes, folks, they were territories back then. Um, what would you say was your most fun territory that you got like the most reaction? And
I'm gonna say the South.
okay,
I'm gonna say the South. Atlanta was fun. A lot of heat. We did a lot of areas where it was predominantly um,
good old country boy. Yeah.
Caucasians, yes, country boys. So I'd come in with the Spanish, the flag, and all this talking Spanish and stuff, and it would get them riled up. I would almost beat the champ, get the belt, put a Puerto Rican sticker on the title, and it would wow them up. It would bring them back to the next show. You
Yeah.
know,
Now,
so that was my most fun territory.
now let me ask you this. I did, we did a thing for Smoky Mountain as a tryout,
Okay.
and Tim Horner recruited the Nightmare Express and myself. Um, we experienced because we were the New Yorkers, we were the Yankees, like Jim Cornette would say. Um, we experienced what's called in the business white heat. White heat is
Mm.
when the fans hate you so much they legitimately want to kill you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had that.
Yeah.
So did you ever experience that yourself? Like,
Absolutely. I had bottles thrown at me, drinks thrown at me, everything. I mean, it came to the point where it was like, get me the fuck out of here because I don't want to die. But I knew I did my job.
yeah,
I did my job. They asked me to do something. I went ahead and I did it. And it paid off. It paid off really well. I was asked to come back a few times to finish up the story. Unfortunately, I didn't win what I had to win, but it got to the point where it made me who I was later on as I continued in the business because I knew how to draw that heat when I had to.
now you went from tag team, you went to singles to take that
Singles.
to travel around. So then you came back and you teamed up with Noel again, and
Well,
may he rest in peace because he was a great
hmm
guy. Um, and you rehooked up with Carmelo too. So you guys came back and you were still WWO Tag Team Champions. And folks, this is where it becomes a little bit interesting because in, I would say, 97, we had the WWO shows in Sunset Park.
yes,
And in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, in a big school. And we were the hottest shit in that community. Um,
we were smoking. We were smoking. We had them coming in drones into those shows.
yep. At one time, I can honestly say, and Kane D can back me up on this. We outdrew Jersey All Pro Wrestling in
Hmm
one night. And it was, folks, I, I don't think we even had a name for it. We just called it WWO Live, I think it was. And
There might have been a name for them. I don't remember, but there might have been a name for it.
either that or it was like at Sunset Park, WWO Sunset Park, or WWO Live. I can't remember.
Was that the night we fought the Haas brothers?
Yes, I was bringing that up. The famous Haas brothers,
Yeah.
Russ Hart, may he rest in peace. But his
Yes.
brother went on to become part of what tag team?
Oh, with Shelton Benjamin, with Kurt Angle. Forgot the name of the team.
The world's greatest tag team.
World's greatest tag
And
team.
they went
Shelton
to the
Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
yep,
Former tag team champions for the WWE too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when they were starting their career, the Haas brothers would team up, and they became these guys this main rival. So we did a show prior to the Sunset Park one as a test run,
hmm
and you guys took on the Haas brothers. Um, really close match. Fans clearly went behind the Haas brothers in that show. So when we did
Oh, of
WWO
course. Of
Sunset
course.
Park, it was billed as the tag team title match, and you guys were the heels, and Haas brothers were these spanking you fresh baby faces. It was a long show. I think we had maybe 7 or 8 matches long, and you guys were semi main event.
hmm
And I remember that because you guys, no, correction, you guys were um you guys were before intermission. So you guys were the main event for the before the intermission.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's right. That's when
so, you know,
one of the Haas brothers tried to do a move. I guess he tried to do like a great Muta move to flip over the top rope, and I guess he got a little scared and stopped. And we're over there waiting for him. We're like, "What the hell's going on?" He's just like, "Fuck it." He just decided to jump through the second rope.
oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. He was supposed to do some move and bounce and jump over the top rope. He just couldn't do it. I don't know what happened. So we're all standing there waiting, and he just decided to jump through the fucking second ropes.
Now, while you bring that up, I am going to let me see if hopefully it didn't block you. Um, while we go into that, folks, and we're talking about that, you know, WWO at that time had Low Key, who
hmm
was starting in the business, who
Yes.
became Senshi, I think, in WWE, and then he went on to become Low Key in various other promotions.
Correct.
Um,
Homicide.
and Homicide too. You know,
Yeah.
besides Charlie Haas, you could look back and you could see those um those guys being part of the show. So tell me, you know, you look back years later, would you ever had thought you would be in the same ring as a Loki, as a Homicide, as the Haas brothers?
No, never. Never. I look at these guys on TV and I'm like, "Yeah, I used to wrestle these guys. Look at them now. Awesome. Wish them the best. I like to see guys progress in a business that they love. And I'm very happy for them.
Yeah,
And they all did very well.
exactly. And folks, I am going to show you something that's probably going to make this guy um cringe a little. Let me see. Let me see if I can grab it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm gonna delete that right there. I'm gonna bring this up here. Let me see if I can also get this window here. There we go. Um, like I said, I'm gonna pull this up, and you, sir, are gonna find this hilarious. I'm gonna bring this up here. I'm gonna cover my ugly puss so he could see. Let me see if it actually pops up. Let me see if it actually pops up, or might not pop up. Okay, hold. Let me get rid of this and do it again. Um, I'm gonna do it this way. It's much easier doing it this way, folks. Um, it is. Hold on a minute. So while I set this up real quick, talk about that match. You know, you guys came in as tag team champions.
Hmm.
You were, you know, brand new team, even though you fought them on a different show, even for us.
Correct. Correct.
But, you know, tell me, what was your thoughts back then? You guys were, you know, um, you guys
I
were,
mean,
you know,
the,
actually, you know, you guys were actually still, um,
yes.
you know, this is guys who, um, okay, so I don't know if the sound is gonna play, guys, but here we go. Let me see if it actually comes up here. And there he is. That's Homicide with Kane D. This is WWO in Sunset Park. So
Sunset Park. Yes, I
now
remember that.
these people were rowdy, folks.
Oh man, we had an ECW crowd. To be honest, the way those people reacted to us, it was like an ECW crowd. They were loud, they were crazy. It was great. It really was. It's nothing like a New York crowd.
There he is, Kid Blast.
Is
And
the Kid Blast coming out?
well, hold on, hold on.
What was the ring announcer's name again? I keep forgetting his
David,
name.
David,
David.
actually, and he's still
Uh,
around too.
is he?
Yes, I talk to him and his wife all the time. Still, they still remember you guys. They were.
Oh, we telling the guy, get out of
Uh,
the way, get out of the way, because you're blocking the camera view.
yep.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And he's still in the way.
Here they go.
There he comes. There he is.
Oh, I'm gonna freeze that picture. Look at that! Look at that walk, that confident walk. Johnny here is the middle guy. So here it is Kid Blast, Carmelo Mayonnaise, Angel
Hmm.
Hernandez in the front with the WWO Light Heavyweight Championship. We're gonna joke about the championship belt in a moment. Hold on. And there he is in the middle, and Johnny is like buffed. He's got his arm, and then there's Noel like following up, like, you know, like,
Right behind the muscle behind everybody else.
yeah.
That's
You had
man.
Bad Boy on your back, like,
Yeah, so it was Bad Boy Tony Perez or Johnny. I
so.
forgot what I was going by back then. It's
No, it
so
was still
long
the
ago.
same, Johnny Perez, but it was Bad Boy Johnny Perez or Tony Perez, whichever.
Some shit. Some one
Yeah.
of those. So
So
it's still Perez no matter what.
you can tell, folks, this is a VHS tape, so that's how old this is. So thought I'd
uh,
give you that little blast from the past, folks.
wow.
Um,
That's wild, man. Holy shit.
um, I was ready for that, so. But so you guys, you know, the crowds were totally against you guys.
They hated us.
The Haas
They
Bros were
hated
these
us.
spanking baby faces. You guys got in there. Talk to me about how was it getting in with. You've taken on the NC-17. You have taken on the American Express, Mike Madsen, JR Styles. You've taken on other teams. Now as WWO Tag Team Champions, you know you're defending the belt in a packed show. against spanking baby faces. Tell me, how was that? How?
You know what? It was a good experience for me. They were good as it was. Whoever trained them did a fantastic job because they were on point with almost every move. Every 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 point we did, whatever we asked them to do, they did. Whatever they asked us to do, we did. The match went very smooth. It was a really good match, except for that one part where I think it was I think it was not Charlie. The
Russ.
Russ went to do the move. I think he got nervous or something and jumped through the second row. But I mean, it still looked good. You know, as green as they were, we worked with them in that ring. We made them look good. They made us look good, and the match went off phenomenal. We were very happy with the way the match went.
Yeah.
You know, we knew they were going to be somebody big because these guys were on point with everything.
Now,
Way on point with everything.
now the funny thing is here, folks. You would think predominantly territory of Hispanic people, mixed,
Hmm.
mixed African American, mixed Asian, but predominantly Puerto Rican. Um, and here is Armed and Dangerous, the Puerto Ricans, and they're getting booed out of, like, literally wanted to get out of the building. And here are these spanking white baby face meat guys, and they're getting all the ladies, the cheers, and all that. And when you guys, I don't remember the finish, but I remember you guys. It was a screw finish,
It was a screw finish, yes.
and you guys
Correct.
snuck out with the titles. And boy, did they hate your guts.
Well, we actually ran a back to the locker rooms when we got the win. But yeah, these guys, the Haas brothers, they're on point with all the angles we did with them. They were on point. You know, a really good team to work with. And I mean, look, Russ went on. I mean, Charlie went on to become a WWE Tag Team Champion in SmackDown.
Yeah,
You know,
and you worked on the show. We have Magic. Let's talk about Big Magic.
Big man, the indie icon.
Yep, the indie icon. I'm gonna get him on the show too. Um, and if you want to co-host with that, we can co-host with that and get the big man here.
Absolutely.
You know, that particular night, you got to see so many different talent, and it was like the next generation. WWO had what we call evolution. Every evolution, we went from the caveman to moving on to like semi-intelligent to like 2013. You know, we went to like burning in a ring in Sunset Park. Not Sunset, in the Bronx, watching a guy jump off the top of a building to
Why, I'll never know.
that. Hey, it was a tension grabber, and it did. It became one of the most
It
talked
did.
about. To Sunset Park, which you guys saw there, packed crowds. It was the introduction for us of many guys. I'm gonna toss a question to you. What was in the first WWO show in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey? This individual made his debut and would later become a WWF and ECW tag team champion.
Uh, Devon,
Yes.
A-Train.
Yep. He was A Train, and he actually became a WWO International Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So go figure, it's like we had Devon Dudley at one time, Homicide, Loki, Charlie Haas, Jason Knight,
Jason Knight.
yeah,
Rock and Rebel.
Rock and Rebel, Big Vito,
Big Vito came through the hallowed halls of the WWO.
yeah. This is before
Well,
he I know after he wore a dress in WWE.
after toughest man to wear a dress.
Yes.
Yes.
So
What was his name before he was Vito?
Skull Von Kraus.
Skull Von Crush.
Yeah.
There you go.
Crush. Yeah, there you go. So we were talking about the championship belts when you guys were coming out, and they looked great. Okay. Actually, Johnny has one. I'm gonna pull this one out real quick. This is the WWO World Tag Team Championship.
That's the 2013 version.
Yes. So We could joke about that now. We'll joke about that now. Talk the folks. This is before they had many belt makers. Back then, you only had, I forgot the famous belt maker for WWE.
What was his name? Oh man, it was right in my head too.
Yeah, he was a famous championship belt collector. So one of his belts was be $1,000. So us and as well as every other indie company used to have to make our own championships. And I think there is a
Yes.
running gag with
Yes.
ours. Let's talk about that real quick because we got other topics, but let's go ahead with that.
Oh man. We took the tops of the Ritz soda cracker cans and made those into belts.
And if I remember correctly, it was you guys. This was after Bronx Brawl 2. You won the
Yes.
championships. You took the belts home and you unhooked them. I can't remember the full story. Noel, I believe, called me and he says, "No, I think it was Carmelo or Noel," and they says, "Yo, man, these are Ritz cracker cans, man." And if you guys, the salting metal green cans, they used to be popular in New York City. And
if you can find one, put it up on the board so
yeah,
they know what we're talking about.
but send it to, just put it on Skulldron's Realm over on Facebook. I haven't seen any of those cans, but they're most likely in more Spanish areas.
Yeah.
So, but I remember they took them off and they said I can't remember, and they decided to redo them, and they came out to the ones you guys wore at that
We
particular
wore
show.
yes.
Uh,
Correct. Yeah. We had to be careful because we would cut our fingers trying to cut the fucking
medals.
metals.
Shows you, back then, we had to be, but then people,
Creative.
yeah,
We were creative.
and
Let's put it
people
that
thought
way.
they were real, thought they were good belts.
You get the weightlifting belt, you get the screws and you screw it in, make it look nice, that type of shit.
Yeah.
And
Nowadays
then
you can easily buy championship belts for like $200,
easy. I remember Gino Caruso had awards as his
Yes,
belts.
the award plaques. Yes.
The award plaques as his belts. Yes.
Here's something for you real quick. You know where those belts originated from?
No idea.
The first champions were the Nightmare Express. We were in a TV show called Wrestling Tracks USA back in the early 90s. We needed championship belts because the host of the show would, there's this kayfabe out the window. The guys were TV show guys, but they were professional wrestling managers. So I did the whole Paulie and the Nightmare and the Midnight Express type deal. And we needed championships, bogus championships, and those were made. And they were
Really?
actually labeled as the Independent Tag Team Championship. It's like because indie company. And Gino took those and made it to the ECPW championships. So, yeah. So there you go. So trophies, guys. Trophy.
Little tidbit, little information now. The old school how the belts were made. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's how they were in little background. And the WWO tag titles, the original, we had to come up with something original quickly, folks. So I remember we bought the old WWF foam tag team titles. We just popped the plates off and put this other plate on it, which was the cracker can, and we secured it. And Dream where we actually made the WWO Light Heavyweight Championship, which was a different material. And that's the one that I believe Carmelo held.
That was cardboard, wasn't it?
It was like a heavy plastic, like a shiny plastic.
That's shiny,
Yeah. And Carmelo would end up redesigning it to look more legitimate.
You know, he's got to redesign his own belt.
Yeah. And he would defend that belt because on the shows he defeated Loki. He would defeat Homicide, so he was the only member to actually that walked away. Well, net with you guys walked away with the tag titles that were, you know, you fought like future superstars and have wins over them. So, you know, so
it's always good to, you know, get them before they become famous.
yes.
You know.
So we're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna jump 10 years later, so 1997. That's when you guys were in your prominent. So you guys were the WWO Tag Team Champs. You were traveling around. You were, like I said, fighting the Haas brothers. You were defending against other people. August, folks, of 1997. We're going to go to WWF really quick. Can you tell me the biggest match that happened in the WWF? And it was SummerSlam 1997.
Yes, I remember the SummerSlam event. Wasn't that the Hogan team versus the Andre team or the $1 Million Man team, something like that?
No, that was 87. This is 97.
Oh, 97. Oh,
I'll give you a quick thing.
give me a hint. Yeah,
I'll give you a hint. The most memorable, in a bad way, memorable match was between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart for the Intercontinental Championship.
When he broke his neck.
There you go.
Yes.
Bret Hart versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. Shawn Michaels was the special referee of that night for them. So remember, Bret spit on Shawn. Shawn took a chair and whacked, but Bret moved and hit The Undertaker. That's what started the Hell in a Cell. Triple H took on Mankind in a steel cage. British Bulldog defended his European Championship against Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. I forgot what he went by back in the days.
Yeah,
He wasn't Ken Shamrock.
Yes, he was. He was still Ken Shamrock.
No, in the Independent League, he was something else.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I always thought he was Ken Shamrock.
No, he had a whole different, like a normal name before he started using his name, his real name. I forgot what it was.
Well,
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, Brian Pillman took on Goldust. So,
Brian Pillman, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So that was the night that Austin got his. Owen accidentally Owen put him in a pile driver, didn't sink it correctly, and it pushed Stone Cold's neck down, and like he landed wrong. He suffered a serious neck and spinal injury. And he couldn't move, but he managed to, with Owen's help, roll him up to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, I remember that.
So, and then Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart would get into a big feud. WCW 1997. Do you remember this moment? Lex Luger won the WCW Championship from an evil Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Do you remember that match?
You know what? I do not.
It was.
I do not.
That was on, I believe it was Rolled Wild, which was like their Sturgis event.
Hog Wild?
Well, this one's called Rolled Wild. I guess they call it Rolled Wild. At night, Rolled Wild 1997, Hogan defeated Lex Luger, to regain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. So Luger beat Hogan on a show, I think on a Nitro. Luger becomes champion and Hogan gets the belt back, which was the Nitro. That was their 100th episode. The Four Horsemen gets a makeover. You know, WC involved Arn Anderson. Arn's neck injury. He basically, remember, that was the thing. He couldn't move his arm.
Yes.
So it was Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Brian Pillman, and Ric Flair who became the Horsemen, with Arn being as their manager. And Kurt Hennig becoming a member and turning against the Horsemen.
Yeah, there were so many things going on that year's. Uh,
He- here,
yeah,
it's so weird because it's like so many shit happen in wrestling. Steve
yes.
Mungo McMichael, poor guy, defeated Jeff Jarrett for the United States Championship. Yeah, him and his dog Pepe and his wife Deborah.
Pepe. Jesus Christ.
Now we jump over to one more promotion, and then we're gonna go from. We'll keep moving on. We're gonna talk a little bit more, and then we're gonna end the stream from there. Over in ECW, it became. It was born to be wired. Sabu defeated Terry Funk for the ECW Heavyweight Championship in a barbed wire match. So that was the first ever ECW barbed wire match, 1997. Do you remember that?
Okay. I guess those concussions really got me.
Yeah.
Um, what was that match again?
It was a barbed wire match between Terry Funk, who was the champion at the time, and Sabu. And Sabu defeated Terry. He defeated Terry for the championship. So
Barely was that barely legal or no?
no, that was just it was a different, just a regular match.
A regular
Yeah,
match.
regular show. I'm sorry. Um, Following that, Hardcore Haven in the same month. It was their second pay-per-view after Barely Legal. The main event was Sabu versus Terry Funk versus Shane Douglas.
The first ever 3-man the something dance, right?
Right, the three-way dance.
The 3-way dance,
Yeah, and
yes.
Shane defeated
Yes.
both to capture his first ECW. Or
His
should I say
first
his?
ECW
Yeah.
title, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
So,
Well, don't forget, he also won that NWA tournament to be the NWA champion. That's when he threw the belt. And,
okay, yes,
remember that?
yes, and they can kiss my ass. Yeah. So, folks,
That's funny.
that was the history. We talked about 40 years ago, and then we talked about 30 years ago. Hard to think, isn't it? Like watching the business as a young person and being involved in the business. It's a insane thing. Um, so
Yes.
we're gonna we're gonna um, we're gonna close this up in a few minutes. So I'm wrestling has changed considerably since then. Um, all the territories that we grew up watching are gone. So it is the WWE, AEW, TNA, now the Billy Corgan version of the NWA,
Oh God.
and New Japan, which is still around. Do you watch any of the current wrestling companies today?
No, I can't watch today's wrestling. It's just, I mean, it's today's SummerSlam. I didn't watch it yesterday. I'm not watching it today.
Yeah.
I can't. It just doesn't interest me anymore. First of all, the era of the territories was probably the best era ever because you was able to see different wrestlers from around the globe, all over the United States, international, Canada, Hawaii. Now it's only three of them: WWE, AEW, TNA, and TNA is just basically all in Canada. And
Yeah.
now, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, and they're so insignificant right now. It's you know, it's a shame. I don't watch it. I used to hold a lot of promise for AEW.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
AEW was to me a fresh company. Um, I liked some of the like Kenny Omega, MJF. Um, you know, I trying to, you know, uh, Hangman Adam Page. You had some of the you had Samoa Joe. You've had Chris Jericho. You had many guys who transferred over.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Will Ospreay. Um, you know, the one of the many Japanese guys that are there. So, um, it's just they went from promising, then they started bringing in people that they should never bring in professional wrestling. Um, storyline started sucking, and now they're trying to rebuild it to make it prominent. We saw Dean Ambrose leave from WWE to become Big Moxley, and
John Moxley, yes.
yeah, and he just decided to be a meat grinder and grind himself down. So shame, shame.
You know, I found the name for Ken Shamrock. He was known as Vince Torelli.
Really?
Yes.
Was that a legitimate name, or was just that his shoot name, or his?
You know what? I don't know. I think that was a shoot name. It was Vince Torelli.
Okay, who
I'm going to
knew?
take on Chris Chavez for a world title. I forgot what Chavez was champion at. But
Had to
everybody
be
knows
like
Chris
an
Chavez became Tatanka.
right. So, and before we go, everybody, you can see I'm wearing my Skulldron's Realm shirt. Got to push the merchandise real quick. You can go just scan the QRC code, and you can see the different shirts. Get the shirts, and I'm planning to make our own version of a WWO shirt. So that's going to be up, and also as well as the podcast here. So we'll be doing the. You can get the Skulldron's Realm Turnbuckle Talk shirt. You can get the Paranormal Realm shirt that we're doing. We also do. I'm doing paranormal stuff too. So yeah, I've seen shit, bro. Yeah, especially in this territory where I am.
I can imagine. I can
So
imagine the shit you've seen.
yeah, and it's especially when the wife is in the room.
Oh.
Um, yeah, full moons. So, um, but you know, when you let's go. Let me say this before we actually end the stream. You went from wrestler to backstage guy for WWO in 2013.
Correct.
You were the road agent at the same time in charge of security. How was that? You know, now seeing, you know, this is years later. The WWO ended in 2000, and just like every other wrestling company, New Jersey All Pro went out, CZW took a time off, and there was many other companies that just fizzled out.
Yeah.
You when we brung it back in 2013, the roster was bigger and the guys were a lot bigger. You know, we had and guys, I am making, and I'll present this out soon. Is the full WWO show. It's gonna have edits, but you'll be seeing the full 2013 show with commentary and graphics and all that. So so coming back, you know, it was a total. We had, you could say, our legends match. Magic took on Jason Knight for the vacant WWO Championship, so that came back. Sheik Sator, who's never lost the international championship since '97, I think it was, came back to defend that belt and lost.
Well, we forced him to come back.
Yeah, we
and
forced him
defend
to
that
come
belt.
back. You know, and everybody thought it was Iron Sheik, Cheeky baby.
You know what? If it brought the crowd in, it puts the ass every 18 inches. Happy person here.
There you go. So then we had Destiny became the ring announcer. So beautiful
Atomic
woman.
Dog.
Yes, Atomic Dog. Wow, my God, we had Ryan Edmonds, Ryan Mitchell. We've had the Fallen Angels and Style and Finesse battle for the
I remember that. Yeah.
battle for the tag titles that you once held, but this time they didn't have Ritz Cracker cans. They actually had those type of
They
titles.
were actually real belts.
Yeah. So the belts that you actually see on the screen, like this one's the WWO World title, which is behind me. The international title over Johnny, they're all behind me. So we actually had those legit belts on that show as well. So the rundown was, and I'm gonna test my memory because I failed to write this down. Ada Marie took on Christy Rivera for the WWO Women's Championship. That was our first ladies championship, our first women's championship. Girls tore the house down. Ryan Edmonds lost to Ryan Mitchell. These are two rookie guys from Pittsburgh. Both guys, here's a little thing I don't know if you knew. Ryan Mitchell actually took on Kane in a WWE enhancement match. So
Wow.
he
Huh?
did that a couple of nights before, and then did WWO. So he took on that.
Nice.
Big Vito took on Intruder number 2 and did it in a squash match, beat him. Intruder won, or maybe I'm getting their numbers back and backwards, but Intruder, one of the Intruders, defeated Sheik Sator to become the WWO International Champion, with Atomic
Correct.
Dog interfering. And again, the tag titles that you held were in I think one of the best matches of the night. The Fallen Angels taking on Style and Finesse.
Solid finesse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great tag match. Great tag match.
and we saw Style and Finesse walk away with that championship. Um, and again, I'm probably glancing over. Dream Warrior made his return for one night only, taking on Joey Styles. I don't know. I don't know the kid's name.
Some
Joey
guy.
Ace.
Some
Joey Ace.
some was it
Yeah.
Joey Ace?
Yeah, Joey Ace. If not, I'm making that shit up. But yeah. So he wasn't the same Dream Warrior
Who,
we
who
remember.
who
Um,
did Atomic Dog pick on?
Mike Massacre. Thank you. I
Mike
couldn't remember that
Massacre.
one. I have to
There you
find that
go.
match now, and I got to add it um,
That
to
was a
that show.
very good match. That was
Yes,
a really good match.
that
I
had
enjoyed
me.
watching that match.
That had my attention because it was big man, little man, but it worked so well. And
It
that's
worked
again
very well.
one of the things that WWO had, and I think I'm crediting you and Kane D, because Kane D was the booker,
Hmm.
was that we believed in storylines. We took a company that hasn't existed from 2000, 10, 13 years later, and we still believed in old school storylines, old school wrestling. You know, there was high spots and everything, but it didn't go
Hmm.
crazy. And we had a hardcore match, so that didn't go stupid, like with light bulbs and fucking glass and tables and all this shit
Oh my
today.
god.
Um, you know, why light bulbs? I still don't get that. It's, you know,
I have no idea. I have
but
no idea.
you know, I'm gonna hit you with that. So coming back, first of all, coming back to the WWO, not as a wrestler, but as a backstage now, co-creative, and being the agent and kind of watching the matches. What was it for you? Because I know I've had conversations with Kane D. Um, what was it for you when you first heard about that and how it was going to actually? I think we've had the conversation. Nobody really believed it was going to happen. And then the day of the show, you showed up and there's a WWO ring. Yes, folks, we had a WWO ring.
Uh, it was like being reborn again with the company. It was just like amazing. Like wow, it was, it's where it all started. You know, being backstage with the new talent and watching these guys come in and take over where we left off was it was phenomenal. It was like watching your kids grow up and do what you love to do, following your footsteps.
Right.
And that's what I felt when I was back there working with the new talent stuff. Is like I'm passing on my knowledge to them, and they went ahead and did what was asked of them, and it was phenomenal.
And I think I have it, folks, and Johnny can, we're going to keep talking about that. Um, when it comes to that moment, we sit back and we talk about so many things. Aha, here it is, everybody. I'm going to toss this. I'm keeping myself out of this picture because I look horrible. There you are with,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes. Me and Kane D
yeah,
at the
both.
WWO tag bouts.
Yep. I remember, um, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm hallucinating or old man's, thing, but I remember Kane D watching and saw that belt and he felt it. It's just like me,
Yeah.
here is an
Yeah.
actual tag title that from our company. And there you are. Still look like you can probably wrestle a couple matches. And
I don't know about now, but back then, yes, I probably was able to.
yeah. And hell, I could have put you as the Latin 17 or something, or armed NCs. I don't know. So, so um, you know, how was it for you? I think, like, for us, it was kind of emotional holding those
Oh, it was
championships.
bittersweet. It was bittersweet. You know, it really was. I mean, holding a championship that was first made from a tin can to an actual championship belt, you know, it just had that good feeling inside. You know, Joe. It's hard to describe. You know, you just have to be there to know what it was about.
Right.
You know,
And,
really.
and people talk about, we're going to go into the other thing too. We're going to talk about, you know, our WWO real quick before we end this. Um, you know, it was a company that we took the guys who nobody wanted. You know,
The
Ken, the
Misfits, no
Misfits,
less.
Ken Sweeney, the Dream Warriors, the Nataz, you know, Satan backwards. Um, he was our Ahmed Johnson. How could you say it? A great guy. No offense to that. The guy was pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, jacked up, muscular guy. He was our Zeus. That's the best way to say
The
it.
Zeus, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
lack of wrestling talent, but you could.
Yeah,
He looked like $1 million.
and that's all you need.
Yeah, couldn't. He made the Ultimate Warrior look like a linguist. Um, so forsooth, beyond the window breaks. That. But
Wow. Hark, who goes there?
yeah, exactly. You know, it's when you look at guys like that, and I remember the night, um, when this, and I'm going back, I think 95, when Ken Sweeney became the world champion. Here was this kid that wore red shorts, red boots, uh, with his wife Dawn at the time, and we had to make a choice because Jason was doing double duty. He was our world champion, but at the same time ECW TV champion. And he came to me and he honestly said, "Hey, I can't do both, you know, but I'm getting paid more over here." So, no hard feelings. Jason was one of my mentors. I said, "Sure, go." Um, uh, so that night we did a battle royal, and the crowd was hopping. This was 300 plus crowd, folks. They got to see NC-17 keep the titles in a 2 out of 3 falls against, um, the American Express. I think you guys couldn't make it. You were working or both guys were working. Um,
Hmm.
Dream Warrior defended his light heavyweight title against Rockin' Rick Silver, and Sheik Sator actually defended the international title, beat Ken Sweeney, and then Ken Sweeney will win the world championship. We're like, okay, who can we give this belt to? And we're looking at the locker room. We're like, Ken Sweeney. So we said,
Why
Ken,
not?
Ken, you're getting the nod. And he did. He held the belt, and he defended against Magic and a couple other people, and Magic will win the title later on. So I think Magic was a 2-time WWO World Heavyweight Champion. So was Jason. So, but for that show, let's actually go to that night. We show up to you could say our own arena. Unfortunately, things, because of bad, uh, um, a bad partner, couldn't see a future. He wanted to see ECW and didn't like where we were at and all this stuff. So it was a one and done, I believe. So, but for that night, here you are. You walk in. We haven't seen each other for a long time. We haven't seen Kane D in a long time. We've
Hmm.
all talked, but never really saw each other. Nor was the other talent too. We didn't get to see the other talent guys. So now here we are in Patterson, New Jersey, folks, the home of Abbott of Costello, Lou Costello,
Lou
and
Costello,
the
yes.
Golden Gloves. And if you don't know who Lou
Yes.
Costello is, it's
Hmm.
the famous Abbott and Costello duel. Look them
Who's
up.
on
Great
first?
company.
What's on second?
There you go. So the city had a significant where they had no wrestling. They had the Golden Gloves every once in a while. So when we opened WWO there, it was a big thing. I think you were on a TV show. You wanna you
Yes, it was like a local cable show that they did. Hmm.
do you remember how was it? Like, here we are, folks. We had to send somebody. I was in all the way here in Pennsylvania, and Kane D couldn't make it, so we sent Johnny out.
So here I am going out to Patterson, New Jersey. What was the place called? I forgot where it was. It was somewhere out in Patterson. I take the elevator up to the top floor, and there was the studios. So we got into the studio. And, it was good because we promoted. I helped promote the 2013 show,
Yeah,
and we talked a lot about the event, who's going to be there. We showed them the posters. We gave them. They showed like a small video. Of some of the performers that were going to be performing that night, and because of that show, we actually got a pretty good crowd. It went local to the every town and village has their local cable network.
yeah,
So when it went out through our Patterson, we ended up getting a really good crowd because it's been a while since anything major was going on, and especially in that area. What was the name of the place, Joe? What was that
it
place that we threw it
it
at?
was the Art Factory,
The Art Factory, yes. And
and
you
it's
can still
still
see it off 80. You know
yeah.
that, right?
No, I did
Uh,
not.
yeah,
Um,
you're able to see a part of it off of I-80. They passed them by Patterson.
oh wow, I did
Yeah,
not know that.
it's
Um,
right there.
you it and the owner let us have a spot which was going to become the WWO arena, and it
Hmm.
was named that. You know, um, so here you are now. You did the spot on the TV show, and now here comes the actual event. And I think all of us was biting our nails, thinking like,
Oh, it was like WrestleMania, the original WrestleMania. Is it going to go through? Is it going to bomb? What was going to happen?
yeah. And thankfully for us, and it was our Friday night out of all things. We wanted to do it Saturday. My partner, ex-partner now of the time, wanted a Friday because he couldn't make it on a Saturday. Which I told him we could draw better on a Saturday, but no. But on a Friday night, again, us against, I don't know if,
SmackDown.
well, SmackDown. And what was there was the World Series or the playoffs? Eh,
No,
Yankees.
not in August. The playoffs isn't until like September.
Well, there was a big
So
baseball
I think,
game.
if I'm not mistaken, I think there might have been a Subway Series going on.
Okay, so um, it was a big important baseball game, and we were competing against SmackDown, a baseball game, Yankees versus Mets, or maybe an All-Star game. I don't remember, but it was a big thing. And here we are. We drew close to 200 people. Now today, that seems like to some indie company that's WrestleMania because they only draw 50 or less. You know, but for us,
That is so
that
true. That is so true.
for us to make this comeback, and folks, we're talking about the banner along the side of the ring that says World Wrestling Organization, WWO Live. We have banners hanging up, you know,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you saw these championship belts, and um, nobody believed it until I think when everybody started showing up, all the talent showed up. We got everybody backstage. We did a little speech. You know, don't do anything crazy. Let's just get through this show and see how well it goes off. Everybody, at least I could say for myself, everybody literally gave 200%.
They gave their heart and soul for that event. They did.
So, what did you think? Here is the show is on the way. There's a packed crowd in there watching the show, and I know for a fact, Kane D and I were watching the Style and Finesse because, again, I managed to tag team champions. He's a former tag champ. I didn't know what your feelings were because I think you were you were doing parking lot and coming back in and out, checking everything. Um, what what was the most significant thing for that night? Was it, a particular match, or was just having this company that you were part of years ago come back?
It was, where was the microphone for the ring announcer?
Yeah, that was one of the things that the sound guy forgot. So poor Destiny was screaming at her top of the lungs, and she pulled it off.
And she did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
She did a phenomenal job. My big moment from when it started to when it ended, that it actually went through and that we was able to pull it off.
Yeah.
That was the 1, 2, 3 count for me, that we pulled it off.
Yeah.
It was a happy moment. It was a joyous moment. It was victory for the WWO return in 2020 and 2013.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be any more proud of that company at that
Exactly.
point in time.
We pulled it off, and it was the next generation holding the championships we were so familiar with. And
Correct.
I think personally, I think Noel would have probably been smiling and says, "Hey, at least these guys got real belts and not crackers." You know, did you? I don't remember if Carmelo wasn't able to make it. Did you guys have a
Correct.
conversation about that?
I don't remember. I think we did. I think he was unable to make the show that day, but I know he made the second one and at the mall.
Right. And folks, and that was another thing, we did carry on. We did we ripped off WCW and we did our first show. We did a show in a mall, you know,
In a
and
storefront, no less.
yeah, in an old storefront, and they gave it to us to let us use it. And hell, we drew the
We
same
drew a lot
number.
of people.
Yeah.
We
And
drew a
it
lot of
looked like a
people.
studio show. It looked like the old NWA studio show.
All I kept hearing is, "We need more chairs. We need more chairs." Like, oh shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Here we are, folks. We're thinking that it's just going to be 50 people, maybe less. Next thing I know, there's like, we need more chairs. What? Yes, we need more chairs. Okay, 80 people. We need more chairs. Crap. I think there was close to 200 people squeezed into this place.
Yeah. 200 something people, yeah.
But at least we
Yeah.
had a mic too. So that
Well, but we didn't have stairs to get in the ring, Joe.
yeah. Everybody jump in a milk carton. I don't care.
One
Uh,
show we had no microphone, second show we had no stairs. Whatever.
but it was, it was a hell of a night, and it was one of those things, folks, where you sit back and we reminisce. I hope we didn't bore you too much. But it was one of those things where, for me, I had a tryout for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Um, got to meet my heroes, got to meet Eddie Gilbert, got to meet and put my arm around Sensational Sherry, may she rest in peace. I got to meet Woman, Nancy Benoit, may she rest in peace. I got to meet Wendy Richter, and she was such a sweet girl. Jusha Thunder Liger, and I met like so many celebrities, or should I say, wrestlers who we knew. We would call them
Hmm.
celebrities. Have you met any, before we end this? Did you meet any like legends?
Well, yeah, I remember I was talking about it earlier where they came over to the Lower East Side,
Okay,
Hakushi, Undertaker, SD Jones, those guys came over and they were practicing there before they went to the Garden that night. So we all practiced with them. So that was a fun deal for me. You
okay.
know.
So, all right, folks. So we're gonna call it a night. First, we've been yakking away for almost 2 hours here. Uh, Johnny, I
That's
appreciate you.
it. That's it. That's a whole show. That's a
Yeah,
whole wrestling show, Joe.
yeah. Better than WWE or AEW,
Yes.
without the
Yes,
high
I agree.
spots. You
I
know,
agree.
here you go. You want to see high spots? Here, hold on a minute. Let me get
Mm.
Roddy Piper, and let me
Oh,
get
shit, there he
let me get
is.
Captain Lou. Like, here,
Captain Lou.
this is what you see today's wrestling.
That's it. Bunch of
You
spot
know,
monkeys.
yeah. And yes, I do have the LJN figures. Bobby Heenan, another guy's long time.
Can't beat those, man. Those were the best.
Yeah,
Those were the best.
you know, I can't believe it. You know, we sit back, bro. Before we and actually now end it, but before, did you ever think we'll be in a world where there's no Road Warriors, there's no
No.
Bobby Heenan, there's no Mr. Fuji, there is no Hulk Hogan, you know,
Yeah.
there is no, you know, Ultimate Warrior, no Macho Man Savage,
No Dusty
no
Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Man.
It's
Flair's still going strong.
yeah. I think it's all the drinks and the cocktails and all the women that he has divorced and married.
I think
Um,
so.
um, you know, it's one of those things. You look back, folks. You know, the British Bulldogs are gone. Um, I'm trying to think of, you know, Vern Gagne's gone. The
Jimmy Snuka,
Jimmy Snooker's gone.
George the Animal Steel,
Uh,
Andre the Giant. You
Wow.
have to understand people. The young generation today would never understand what it was like to watch these guys back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, because that was probably the greatest time for this business.
Yeah.
Cablevision was being introduced, wrestlers you've never seen before you were watching. I mean, it was like it was just a giant transition for professional wrestling back in those days. They drew crowds like the way they draw them today. They were drawing them back then.
Yeah. With less
You know,
moves, folks. A leg
with
drop
less
was
moves.
a leg
Uh,
drop.
People were getting beat with a backdrop, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Oh, what was it?
And the people were going crazy.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? A DDT, a pile driver, an elbow from the top rope, a leg
That's it.
drop.
They weren't doing 20 elbows from the top rope and 16 power slams just to pin a guy. You did it one move, it was over.
Yeah.
That was it.
It was.
And it was the best time, best era ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Johnny, before we end it, you got any parting words to everybody? You know, like any words of advice for any inspiring wrestler coming on?
Follow your dream. Follow your heart. If that's what you want to be, go right ahead and do it. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself from being what you want to be.
There you go. I was gonna say run away, stay away from the wrestling business.
Well, I wasn't talking about wrestling. I was talking about in general.
Oh, okay. In general, well, one more thing I gotta ask you, and I know at the time, but did you have any rats? See, he can say that. He can say that now. You had any
There were
ring
ring
rats?
rats everywhere. There were ring rats everywhere.
Okay.
No matter where you went, they bought us drugs. They bought us alcohol. They bought us whatever we wanted, and that's what a ring rat was for. You had a specific girl for every territory you went to. You had a rat everywhere.
Thank God I had
And
some of them before I got married.
let me tell you something. I believe they're still out there somewhere today. I just don't know where.
Yeah. Quick one for you. Any road stories? One road stories. We got 3 minutes.
Going into Canada with drugs. Back then we had shaving creams that you would screw the bottom. You would unscrew the bottom and you would put the drugs in there, screw it back in. But the
Bad boy.
top part would actually be real shaving cream. So if he got pulled over at the border, they would look at it. They'll see shaving cream coming out. They throw it back in the bag. Out the door you go. We'd also pack it in with coffee grinds so the dogs don't smell it. That's where we could cross it around the border.
And, like, mind you, folks, drugs are bad, but back in the day,
Yes,
oh boy.
they're very bad for you. Very bad for you.
So back then, if you weren't now, I've never had that. I was I was always the designated driver for the idiots. You know.
Well, we had more fun than you, Joe.
Yeah, but I had the rats too. Believe it
Yes,
or
the
not.
rats were the best. They brought it to us.
Yep.
The rats always brought it to us.
But
So,
Johnny, thank you for being part of the first, Turnbuckle Talk. And again, it's so great to reminisce about not only your
yes.
career, about the WWO, and try to talk about some of the history that of professional wrestling that we've enjoyed so well.
And we'll always enjoy it. As long as it's in our head, we'll always enjoy it.
Absolutely, we'll make up shit as long as every time the story is told. Nothing would ever forget the cracker pan belt.
Those belts were the best, man.
So guys,
I wish I still had one.
Really, it would have been on the wall.
Oh, I wish I still had one,
Go
man.
ask Carmelo. He probably has it.
He probably does. He
He
probably
probably
does.
does. Talk to him. I want to get him on the show too. Uh,
Absolutely. I'll send him. I'll shoot him a message.
yeah, because we would have to bring up the fight. I don't know if he's willing to talk about it or not.
I'm sure he is. It's many moons ago, over 30 years ago. I think he'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah. So with that, folks, this is Turnbuckle Talk. I am Joseph Skulldron Knight with Johnny Perez here, and this is first episode. We're gonna have many more. You guys
Yes.
take care. Before we go, I'm gonna show you guys this.